My wife was actually one of the very first college students from our village. Everyone told me I was incredibly lucky to marry someone with such a bright future, but they never saw my hard work. I took care of my paralyzed mother-in-law all by myself, while earning enough money to feed the whole family. After 10 long years of marriage, we finally had a baby on the way. Just when I thought happiness was finally calling out to us, this man showed up at our house claiming to be her college classmate. While my wife treated me with absolute, ice-cold indifference, she gave this new guy nothing but endless warmth and total affection. He purposely fell and claimed I pushed him. To punish me, my wife immediately got rid of our baby. Staring right at the surgery paperwork in front of me, I firmly submitted my application to transfer up to the Northwest for construction work. Right after submitting that application, I came home and saw Lu Nhyn using a cold towel to rub Yang Then's wrist. The second she saw me walk in, she started yelling TBT. Just look at the great thing you did. Then's wrist is completely swollen like this now. I snapped back. I told her one more time that Yang Then purposely threw himself down. Even if I have to leave, I refuse to take the blame for this. Hearing that, Lu Nhyn furiously yelled back, TBT, you still dare to lie? NH is a high-level intellectual. How could he possibly do something like that? Yang Then came to our house 3 months ago. Lu Nhyn said he was a college friend whose family had some trouble, so he was staying for a few days. These days, college students are incredibly rare and highly respected wherever they happen to go. I treated Yang Then as well as I possibly could. I even brought out things I normally wouldn't dare eat, like eggs and meat, just to properly host him. But now watch this red flag. I noticed something off and suggested Lu Nhyn tell him to move out, but she just immediately refused and harshly scolded me instead. When Yang Then found out, he just smirked, walked right up to me and said TBT, you are actually the one who should move out of this house. Right after saying that, he threw himself down the stairs, framing me for pushing him. Lu Nhyn was so furious she wouldn't even listen to my explanation. She kicked me straight in the stomach and gently helped Yang Then walk away, then ended our 3-month pregnancy entirely on her own. Just to punish me, I really wanted to question her. Just because someone is a high-level intellectual, does that guarantee they cannot lie or falsely smear another innocent person? But thinking about it, there's no real need. I already said what I needed to say. She can believe it or not. I walked straight into the house, just wanting to rest for a bit. But Lu Nhyn marched over, grabbed my wrist tight, and dragged me right in front of Yang Then. She forced me to apologize, demanding I say sorry to Then right now. Shaking her hand off, I stood my ground. I did nothing wrong, and I won't apologize. Yang then put on this pitiful face, looking at Lu Nhyn and saying Nhyn, I am fine. Anyway, please do not blame BT anymore. Lu Nhyn just comforted him. Then he actually dared to treat you like this today, so I absolutely will not let you suffer this unfairness. After saying that, she shoved me outside, locked it tight, and dropped a harsh threat. TBT, if you don't apologize to Then today, don't even think about stepping inside this house again. From inside, I heard Yang Then's gentle voice echoing out. Nhyn, is winter right now. What if BT catches a cold? Lu Nhyn quickly replied, don't worry, his body is as strong as an ox. Back when he farmed in the countryside, this intellectual worked even harder than the peasants. He could easily carry a 30-pound rice bag without breaking a sweat. Yang Then sneered through the door, maybe he was simply born to be a common peasant. That year, Lu Nhyn passed her exams and went to the province, leaving only my bedridden mother-in-law at home. As the man, I had to carry the whole family, doing the work of 2 people. And yet, I have now become a complete joke to them. The cold wind cut into me like a knife, and my stomach cramped violently. I have severe stomach issues and cannot handle the freezing cold. Can you imagine how brutal that is? I wouldn't survive this freezing winter outside. But thinking about my transfer just had to endure half a month. So I knocked. Lu Nhyn finally opened it, and I agreed to apologize to Yang Then. I walked straight up to him and said, Comrade I'm sorry. I shouldn't have pushed you. A smug smile bloomed right on Yang Then's face. Oh, BT, I really thought your bones were much tougher than this. I kept my head down. Lu Nhyn quickly said, alright, just do not ever do this again next time. I bought 2 pounds of bones, go make some soup to nourish Then. Fighting through my pain, I washed veggies, cooked, then immediately went back to my room to rest. Waking up the next morning, suddenly realized Lu Nhyn hadn't returned to her room last night. This house was assigned to Lu Nhyn by her factory, and it only has 2 rooms. If she didn't sleep here, it's pretty obvious where she went. I got dressed and walked out, finding Lu Nhyn and Yang Thenh eating breakfast. They each had a bowl of noodles made from last night's bone broth. Seeing me, a flash of awkwardness crossed Lu Nhyn's face before she quickly explained. Then's ankle is sprained, so moving around at night is super inconvenient for him. Yesterday, Us laid a mattress on the floor in his room. Do not overthink it. I just smiled and said Yang Then's leg is hurt, so taking care of him is exactly what you should do. Lu Nhyn slept on that floor mattress in Yang Then's room for a whole week. She only returned to my room when his ankle wasn't red or swollen anymore. As soon as she walked in, she spotted 2 large suitcases leaning against the wall. That was the luggage I had already packed. Meeting Lu Nhyn's totally confused stare, I finally spoke up. I said I packed all my things into the cases, emptying out a whole wardrobe so Comrade Y can store his clothes. Hearing that, Lu Nhyn just nodded her head in complete satisfaction. You're always so thoughtful. Then's room really was missing a wardrobe anyway. Lu Nhyn moves fast. I just stepped into the kitchen to cook, and she and Yang Thenh already carried the whole wardrobe over to his room. Honestly, I really wanted to tell them there was absolutely no rush. Yang Thenh could just move in properly in a few days. But after dinner, out of nowhere, he actually offers to help me wash the dishes. Lu Nhyn immediately stops him. Thenh, you are our guest. Just let him handle all these little chores. Yang Thenh replies, completely serious. Nhyn, I'm a member of this family too. Of course, I should help out. Not wanting to deal with their annoying drama, I just grab the bowls and head straight into the kitchen. Yang Thenh follows behind me, crosses his arms, and starts throwing sarcastic remarks. TBT, do you think you're so smart? Knowing you can't beat me, you've decided to just act all submissive. I keep my head down, washing dishes, totally ignoring him. But he keeps talking. Let me tell you, this house only has one man in charge, and that's me. I take the dirty, wet rag and shove it right into his hands. The man of the house title is all yours now. Hope you get used to it fast. Endless chores and someone else taking them over? I'm absolutely thrilled. After saying that, I head to my room. Before long, Lu Nhyn storms in, absolutely furious. TBT, why would you actually let Thenh wash the dishes? His hands are all red and freezing. I just show her my own hands, completely covered in cracked, freezing sores. His hands are slightly red, and you feel this bad. But what about me washing clothes and cooking for you every day with these freezing, cracked hands? Lu Nhyn's fierce momentum instantly weakens. Those frostbite scars are old news. You must be used to them. But Thenh is totally different. He's never done these kinds of feminine chores in his life. Watch closely now. I just smile, looking right at her to ask, so before marrying you, did I ever do these feminine chores? Back in the day, I was a scholar too. My hands smelling of ink and paper. That year, the youth intellectual movement finally came to an end. I chose to stay for you, becoming your family's son-in-law. Then you went to the city for university, leaving just me and your bedridden mother alone in the house. In the middle of freezing winter, washing clothes in ice-cold water, carrying buckets, and cooking all became my daily routine. My hands, which never had a single crack, slowly filled with painful frostbite sores. Lu Nhyn presses her lips together, finally saying nothing more. The day before heading out to the northwest, I go to the department store with my colleague Tien to buy supplies, and unexpectedly run right into Lu Nhyn and Yang Thenh. Yang Thenh is wearing a brand new style puffy jacket, smiling brightly as he asks Nhyn, "Do I look good in this one?" Lu Nhyn nods, her eyes full of complete adoration. Thenh, you look amazing in anything. Saying that, she pulls out 200 to pay without blinking. I suddenly remember my first year in the countryside. I also brought along plenty of good clothes, but later, because my mother-in-law got seriously ill and we were broke, I sold them all cheap for medicine. Last year, when I first returned to Lu Nhyn's side, I asked her to take me out to buy a warm winter coat. The clerk gave me a puffy jacket to try on, costing 168. Instantly, Lu Nhyn's face turned completely dark. "Do you even deserve to wear this kind of bourgeois clothing?" After saying that, she just turned and left, leaving me there without a single penny. I walked alone for 4 whole hours before finally getting back. Tien spots the two of them as well, grabs my arm and says, "BT, isn't that Director Liu? Get ready for this." Before I can speak, he drags me right over to them. "Director Liu, you husband and wife are so interesting. Why are you shopping completely separately like this?" Seeing us, Liu Nhy quickly lets go of his hand. Tien sees that scene too, and being a blunt guy, he just says it straight. "Director Liu, are you sneaking around cheating behind BT's back?" The moment those words drop, Yang Then's face turns completely pale. "Who are you calling a cheater? Say it clearly to me." Tien replies, "I just saw you and Director Liu holding hands. If that isn't cheating, then what is it?" Liu Nhy hurriedly explains, "Comrade Tien, you are totally misunderstanding this. H is just my old university classmate." Tien snaps back, "What kind of classmates need to hold hands when going out?" Liu Nhy's voice completely hitches, clearly unable to come up with a reasonable excuse on the spot. I immediately speak up, "Tien, he really is Nhy's classmate. Just staying at our house temporarily for business. Don't overthink it." Tien still wants to argue, but I pull his arm away. I turn back and tell Liu Nhy and Tien, "And I still need to buy a few more things, so we won't be heading back with you two." I drag Tien right out of the department store, simply telling him the whole story between me and Liu Nhy. Tien grinds his teeth in anger. "BT, she is literally cheating on you in broad daylight. How can you still hold back?" I just smile faintly. Liu Nhy's heart was never with me anyway. If I make a huge fuss, I'll only bring awkwardness upon myself. Besides, I've already decided to leave her behind and head out to the northwest. Whoever she ends up staying with has absolutely nothing to do with me. That very night, Tien and I go to a state-run restaurant, ordering 2 dishes and a soup, braised pork, lion's head meatballs, and 3 delicacy soup. After eating until completely full, I finally carry my bulky pile of supplies back home. Yellow light spills out from the door crack. I see Liu Nhy handing Yang Then a massive, thick stack of cash. "NH, this is 3,764 my salary from the past few years. Take it and move out of my house tomorrow." Yang Then immediately pulls her into a tight embrace. "Nhy, do you want to chase me away? You said you loved me, that you wanted to take care of me forever." Liu Nhy's voice stutters, clearly reluctant. "When we graduated university back then, I said I would marry you, but you let go of my hand first. Now, everything is just too late." She figured, BT has been by her side for 10 whole years. He is 29 now. If she dumps him, her conscience would eat her alive, and people would judge her forever. Back in the village, everybody praised Liu Nhy for being so loyal. Even after becoming a high-level intellectual making big money, she never abandoned me. Everyone said I must have saved a nation in my past life to marry her. I honestly used to think that too, so I just swallowed all her coldness and total indifference. But now I know the ugly truth. She actually wanted to dump me, and only came back because that other guy did not want her. I stood outside that door for a long time. I waited until Yang Then greedily took every last cent of her savings. Then, I finally knocked. Seeing me carrying bags of all sizes, Liu Nhy freezes up. She asks how much money I just wasted buying all this stuff. "Aren't you supposed to be the thrifty one?" she asks. I just reply coldly, "Whatever I spent, I earned it myself. It is none of your business." My face stays completely blank as I walk right past the two of them into the room. A bit later, she places a cheap frostbite ointment on the table. She claims she bought it for me at the department store today. A 50-cent frostbite cream for me, versus a $200 winter coat for him. That right there, it shows exactly where Yang Then and I stand in her heart. She keeps going, saying she is not blaming me for wasting money, but I bought useless junk that will just clutter up our house. Seeing my absolute silence, she loses interest in embarrassing herself further, turns around, and walks out. The next morning at dawn, Yang Then complains of a stomachache. She panics so hard she puts her shoes on wrong, rushing him straight to the local clinic. Meanwhile, I grab my 2 huge suitcases and board a train heading northwest with my coworkers. As the engine starts, the scenery outside begins rolling backward. My mind is strangely calm, and honestly, this is where everything shifts for good. Liu Nhy, I do not need you anymore. From now on, we are completely done. The train chugs along for 3 days and 2 nights before arriving. The one greeting us is the Northwest Branch Deputy Director, woman named Thum Who S. Stepping off, she specifically comes over to help carry my luggage. The main factory told her everyone else brought their spouses, leaving me completely solo, so she was told to look out for me. I bow my head in thanks. The Northwest climate is pretty dry, and the temperature drop from day to night is huge. At first, it is definitely a bit tough to adjust, but unlike the others, I managed to fit right in super fast. Every day, there is no more mountain of chores, no towering piles of dirty dishes, no endless laundry, and most importantly, no facing Lu Nhyn or Yang Then H. Those two only brought me suffocating stress. Now, my mind feels incredibly light and free. A whole month passes in a flash. After my shift one day, I shockingly spot Lu Nhyn standing right outside my dorm room. After a month apart, her clothes are wrinkled, hair a total mess, completely losing her usual elegant vibe. I refuse to flatter myself thinking she came for me, so I just walk by, but she violently reaches out and tightly grabs my arm, demanding to know TBT. Why on earth did you hide your work transfer to the Northwest from me? I forcefully shake her hand off. Seriously, do you even need to ask? Do you have any memory of what you did? Hearing me bring it up, her body trembles slightly. She asks if it is because of a NH. I look at her, a bitter smile curling on my lips. Look, I am a man. I cannot just stand by and watch my own partner cheat right in front of me. And stay calm. She frantically tries to explain herself, swearing she didn't cheat, and that H is just a classmate. I reply ice cold, I have eyes. I can see for myself. But whether you two are real classmates or not has absolutely nothing to do with me anymore. Throwing that down, I try to walk away, but she chases after me, crying that she is my wife, and how could I say that? I just scoff. You call yourself my wife, but did we ever actually sign a marriage certificate? Back when we held that little wedding banquet in our home village, we were only 19, way too young to legally register. Later on, she went up to the city for college, and getting that official marriage certificate just kept getting pushed back indefinitely. By the time she finally graduated a few years ago, I had already figured things out and urged her multiple times to finish the paperwork, but she got totally annoyed. She literally screamed right in my face, TBT, you're so annoying. Does lacking a piece of paper mean I am not your wife? From that exact moment on, I never dared to bring up registering our marriage ever again. Back then, her words felt like a hard slap, and today I'm finally returning the favor, shutting her down time and time again. Pure dissatisfaction flashes across her face. She practically snaps at me. TBT, I lowered my voice to beg you today. What more do you possibly want? I stare right back and demand I should be the one asking what you want. Me leaving is exactly what you wanted, right? Now, you can marry Yang Then H or anyone else. She tries to argue back, but you are going to love this timing. TN and some coworkers walk right past after their shift. Seeing her, they immediately step up and block me, yelling at her, "You shameless woman. What the hell are you doing here?" Faced with complete strangers, she instantly snaps back into her usual arrogant, high and mighty posture. She warns him not to interfere with her and BT's family business. But TN just roars back, family business, like how you brought your little side piece home. He loudly calls everyone over to look, exposing our factory's director, Lou, as a cheater who brought her lover home and still dares to act righteous. In the blink of an eye, a huge crowd of colleagues surrounds them, pointing fingers and loudly gossiping about her. She cares way too much about her precious face, so she obviously cannot handle all this loud gossiping. She has no choice but to awkwardly walk away. TN walks me back to the dorms, asking me the whole way what Lu Nhyn wanted. I tell him the whole truth, and TN immediately warns me, "A leopard never changes its spots, BT, so you absolutely cannot forgive her." I give him a very serious nod. The next day after work, Lu Nhyn is waiting outside my dorm again, but I am walking with TN. Seeing him there, she obviously does not dare to bother me. This exact same routine goes on for several days in a row. Then one afternoon, right after lunch, TN mysteriously pulls me aside for a chat. "BT, I have to tell you something that will definitely make your day." I ask him what it is. He lowers his voice with pure excitement. "I called home from the neighborhood office yesterday, and I casually asked around about that completely shameless woman. Guess what I found out?" I look at him, feeling pretty doubtful. TN quickly explains it all. That guy Lu Nhyn cheated with, Yang Then H, actually already has a wife. Word is she has a fierce temper and beats him constantly. Yang Then H ran away from home without even getting a divorce. Not long after you left that place, his angry wife tracked him down. She showed up at the factory, causing a huge scene, screaming that Lu Nhyn seduced someone else's husband and wrecked their happy family. It was a massive scandal. Lu Nhyn eventually got fired, and why Ang Thanh got dragged home by his wife. Now, it all makes sense. No wonder it took a whole month for Lu Nhyn to finally come looking for me here. Just like the old days, I'm still nothing but her absolute last resort. But here is the crazy thing. I'm not standing in that exact same spot anymore. That evening after work, I actually track Lu Nhyn down to make things perfectly clear. I know all about your situation. You got fired, and why Ang Thanh was dragged away by his wife. That is exactly why you came crawling back to me. A brief look of awkwardness flashes across Lu Nhyn's face, but she quickly calms down. BT, I know I was wrong before, but Thanh is gone now. When we go back, I will give you a child. The three of us can live peacefully as a family, okay? I keep my voice ice cold. Lu Nhyn, you gave all your love and money to Ang Thanh, and only now you say you want a good life with me. Just how incredibly cheap do you think I am? Do I deserve absolutely nothing? Am I only fit to follow you around and suffer for the rest of my life? Lu Nhyn is completely shocked. How did you know? I let out a really bitter laugh. You spent $200 buying a winter coat for Ang Thanh, while I only got a 50-cent box of cheap medicine. When you emptied your entire savings account for Ang Thanh, did you ever once remember that I was your actual husband? I finished speaking. Lu Nhyn, things in this world do not work out that perfectly, and I am not going to stay stupid forever. Maybe she finally remembers just how terrible her past actions were, or maybe her high-class intellectual pride just refuses to let her stoop any lower to keep dragging this out. In the end, she can only walk away in complete, miserable defeat. 3 whole years pass in a flash. I end up getting together with the Northwest Branch Vice Director, Thum Hues. Thum Hues is my exact age, and she was one of the very first builders out here in the Northwest. Believe it or not, our entire relationship starts just because she hands me a simple box of stomach-healing rice cakes. Rice cakes are already a pretty rare treat. They are hard to buy, even in Thanh, let alone out here in the resource-starved Northwest. They are expensive, and you have to travel over 100 miles to the county town just to find them. I quickly wave my hands, refusing. No way, I really cannot accept this. It is way too valuable. But Comrade Thum stays firm, telling me she knows about my stomach pain, and these rice cakes will help heal it. Your body is your revolutionary capital. You have to stay healthy if you want to keep contributing to building up the Northwest. She decisively shoves the rice cakes right into my hands and runs off. I stare down at the heavy box, and this totally indescribable feeling suddenly swells up inside my chest. Back in the village, I cared for my bedridden mother-in-law, handled the farm work, and herded the cows entirely by myself. I constantly went hungry, which eventually completely ruined my stomach. Thankfully, because of those sweet rice cakes Thum Hues gave me, eating just a small piece whenever the pain hits honestly makes me feel so much better. The very next day, I pull out $5 for Thum Hues. I thank Director Thum for the rice cakes, but Thum Hues pushes the money right back. We are all colleagues here, so caring for each other is expected. How could I ever take your money? I stubbornly hand it back, saying that nobody's money just blows in on the wind. If you refuse this, I am returning the rice cakes. Thum Hues pushes it back and forth a few times, then suddenly grabs my hand, looking straight at me. Comrade T, let me be straight with you. I like you, and I want to date. Hearing her say that, I freeze right on the spot. I never even considered this possibility. Thum Hues might not be young, but she is highly respected, genuinely warm-hearted, and holds a pretty high position. With all her great qualities, finding a decent partner would never be an issue. After a long moment, I finally managed to stammer Director Thum. You know I was married before, right? Thum Hues nods calmly. I know. Did your ex-wife not come looking for you just recently? I lower my voice. Yet you still am honestly not worthy of you. Thum Hues gets serious. Comrade T, you cannot hold onto those old feudal ideas. Everyone is completely equal now, so there is no such thing as being unworthy. To be completely honest, before coming to the Northwest, I was already prepared to dedicate my entire life to our country. She tells me she never really wanted marriage, finding it a total hassle, but meeting me completely shattered her old prejudice against arrogant, self-centered men. She brings up that time I gave her my coat, totally saving her from a really embarrassing time of the month. You feel so warm, she says. Thum Hues's confession is simple, but incredibly sincere. I agree to try dating her, and that trial run easily stretches into 3 whole years. On a rare day off, she takes me over 100 kilometers away just to shop. Passing the coat counter at the mall, I can't help but steal a few glances. She immediately pulls me over, telling the clerk to grab a long puffer coat. Seeing the 328 dong price tag, I quickly refuse. We work every single day. I'll her there is nowhere to wear something so expensive. She just drapes it over my shoulders and nods. BT. You look exactly like a model in this. Then she just pulls out the cash. Staring at my reflection in that long black coat, my entire body and heart feel unbelievably warm. But hold on, Vu is waiting back home. It is Lu Nhyn, half gray, and looking 10 years older. Seeing me, she cannot hide her excitement. You are back, she cries out. Staring at her, I feel absolutely nothing inside. My eyes stay calm. Why are you even here? She just shoves cash into my hands. This is 3,760 for dong, she says, pulling out a dark blue puffer coat. I bought the one you liked. It is the exact style I tried on. It has been 3 years, she pleads. You should drop the anger. I shove everything back. After 3 whole years, I have no idea what this little act is about. She just stands there awkwardly, eyes red. She begs me to come back. She admits she was terrible before, but swears she has truly changed, promising to be completely loyal to me from now on. I reply coldly, you aren't repenting? You just realized you have no one left to serve you. Over these past 3 years, I honestly heard bits and pieces from TN. Back then, Yang Thenh was quickly dragged away by his wife, taking all 3,000 dong from her and leaving just a divorce paper. Then he came crawling back to her. At first she was furious, but she just could not resist his sweet talk. Soon enough, they stuck together again and through a simple wedding. But the married life brought constant, endless fighting. She lost her old job and the new one paid less, while he kept spending lavishly, running a massive deficit every single month. She worked all day, only to come home to cold food and a husband demanding royal treatment. That life was never going to last. You know where this goes. Their arguments exploded, eventually crossing the line into actual physical fights. Their miserable marriage ended in under a year. Remembering me, she worked days and hustled nights, saving that exact cash over 2 years. Her voice drips with memories of when I was around. I never had to worry about a thing, she says. Hot meals daily, clothes washed and folded in the closet. The house always absolutely spotless. I answer evenly, but didn't you hate every single bit of that? You called me vulgar, lacking any scholar elegance. Even my physical strength was just a running joke for you and Yang Thenh to laugh at. Did you ever stop and think? When you left for college, it was just me and your paralyzed mother. If I had not been strong enough to haul heavy wheat by myself, if I just sat around reading, your mom and I would have starved to nothing. She loses that arrogant, high and mighty look entirely, her voice dropping into a desperate plea. BT, I never appreciated what I had, she cries, offering her entire future salary and promising to buy me anything I want if I just let her make up for it. Come back to me, she begs. I cut her off cold. Your regret is your problem. My new life is set. Stop bothering me. Right on cue, Thum Hues finishes handing out supplies and walks over. I step up, lock arms with her, and introduce my fiancée. This is Thum Hues, the woman I love. She extends a hand. Hello, Comrade Lu. Staring at this energetic, stunningly beautiful woman, a heavy wave of pure inferiority washes over Lu Nhyn. Losing her father, young, she and her disabled mother barely survived. That deep insecurity was always in her bones. But passing the college exams, becoming the village's top intellectual, and getting respect everywhere she went, all that old self-doubt totally disappeared. Graduating brought a highly respected, well-paying job. Life was such smooth sailing she completely forgot what inferiority felt like. Yet right now, seeing me arm in arm with Hues, that crushing inadequacy comes rushing back. She barely manages a quick handshake. My fiancée just smiles. BT and I are marrying soon. Stay for a drink if you aren't busy. Her lips tremble, but no words come out. After the greeting, my fiancée wraps an arm around my shoulder, walking me home. But right as we're heading inside, Lu Nhyn's voice rings out from behind. TBT was with me for 10 years. She claims we even had a child together. Thum Hues, someone with your high status could easily find a much better guy. Do you truly not care at all? Dead set on marrying a man who has already failed one marriage? My footsteps immediately freeze, my hands balling into tight fists without even realizing. Even though Thum Hues already knew all about my past, but having it dragged out so shamelessly, loaded with that kind of blatant provocation, I'm honestly terrified she might actually mind. Then, the very next second, Thum Hues grabs my hand tightly, pulling me around to face Lu Nhyn head on. In that previous marriage, BT never did a single thing wrong. You are the one at fault. So why on earth would I care? Honestly, I just feel so lucky that you let such a good man go. It gave me the perfect chance to be by his side and spend the rest of my life with him. Lu Nhyn clinging to her ex-husband after the divorce is embarrassing enough. Smearing his good name just because you cannot have him. That only makes me completely despise you more. Back inside the room, Thum Huas immediately pulls out a gold ring, placing it before me. BT, I have thought about marrying you for a really long time now. Will you take me as your wife? Staring at that glowing gold ring engraved with a lotus, my eyes blur. Thum Huas, are you really sure about marrying a guy like me? She squeezes my hand, so incredibly firm. I'm not great at sweet talk, but I swear today if I ever betray you, I deserve the absolute worst fate possible. I pull her into a tight hug. I do. I completely agree to marry you. A week later, in Thai BC, we get our certificate and hold a simple wedding. Lu Nhyn actually stays behind, acting as a witness to our marriage ceremony. During the ceremony, she raises a glass my way. BT, I am so sorry about my words that day. I genuinely wish you both happiness. And from that day on, she never once shows up around me again. Now watch how fast time flies. 10 years pass. Thum Huas and I return to Gyeongthenh with a son and daughter. She is the factory director, I am a workshop manager. The factory gives us a really spacious home. Looking at my wonderful wife beside me and our two amazing kids, this indescribable happiness just completely swells up in my chest. When I turn 53, the police show up. They say Lu Nhyn passed away at home, leaving a final letter to transfer 3,760 for dong to me, calling it her last remaining debt. Staring at that thick stack of cash, I just asked the police to donate everything to an orphanage. Maybe she really did owe me once upon a time, but now, it doesn't matter anymore. I just do not want to be tied to her in any way. Soft music plays.